I worked at the local DQ while in high school. One day, a mom brings in her little boy and he orders a cotton candy blizzard. This might possibly have been the worst blizzard flavor ever. It was somewhat like a milky sugar napalm. Anyway, he starts inhaling it as soon as it's in his grubby hands. He finishes the whole thing before his mom even finishes paying. 10 seconds later, I hear those famous last words. I don't feel so good. Right before I see a spectacular projectile vomit pattern ejected right into the glass door. The mom takes her medium cone and leaves without apologizing. This was one of those fried chicken fast food places. A customer came up to me with her food tray in hand, looking distressed and physically ill. I asked her if I could help her with something, and she showed me the remains of her chicken sandwich. The fillet was oddly flat and green between the breading. It turns out one of those green industrial scorching pads, used, who knows, had been breaded, deep fried, and served in a sandwich. I'm still convinced it was intentional because, let's be real, how could it not be? But the culprit was never found. Other notable instances. Someone put coleslaw dressing in the saucer of ice cream machine, and this poor kid got a coleslaw cone and cried. Another one. This was another restaurant nearby where a new guy sweetened the iced tea with some sort of cleaning powder that apparently resembled sugar. The woman was hospitalized, and it made local news, and our restaurant owners sent out emails to everyone stressing the importance of not killing our patrons. I worked at a pizza restaurant. The sanitation was pretty questionable, and while there were timers hanging above the pizzas to symbolize that we were supposed to throw pizzas away after being out for 2 hours, those were just decorations for the health inspectors. Anyway, I'd get a free slice of pizza during my break. I'd normally go for the cheese since it was almost always fresh, and thus the less likely to kill me. But I decided to go for the baked ziti pizza, because pasta on pizza fulfilled a carbo load dream of mine. So I throw the pizza in the oven for a few minutes, take it out, and take a few bites, only to realize something was wiggling in the pizza. Between the gooey sauce and the pasta pieces, there were a half or so dozen larvae, who were rather alarmed at just having been thrown in a 500-degree oven. Management always left the door open in the summertime, and apparently that invited fruit flies that laid eggs on the pizzas. After gagging and spitting and contemplating what possibly just wiggled down my esophagus, I showed the wormy slice to my boss, who claimed it was just garlic, and then yelled at me for throwing the slice away. What was also just as disconcerting, however, is that one time a customer, a drunk frat boy, got a wormy slice and came to the counter. Instead of asking for a refund, he asked for more pizza. I went back home to visit my family over a long weekend. I got there while they were out, and I still had a key, so I just let myself in. I was pretty thirsty, and I got super excited when I remembered my mom keeps coffee syrup in the pantry. It's like chocolate syrup, but it's coffee syrup. So I make myself a glass and gulp down the sweet, delicious goodness, until I get to the bottom and feel these weird little chunks in my mouth. I assume the syrup has sugar crystals or something in it, so I brush the chunks off my tongue, and I see the chunks have legs. Ants. Tiny ants. So I look into the cup to see if there's any more, and the entire last inch of milk is thick with them. There are hundreds of ants sloshing around in the bottom of my glass. I immediately ran outside and dumped it into the grass and tried not to throw up. One time when I was 12, I had a craving for chocolate milk. I was at my dad's house, and he never cleans food out of the pantry. We had Nesquik, and I didn't even bother to think about how long it might have been in there for. Grabbed milk and poured a few spoonfuls of chocolate on top. I let it sink down without stirring it because I like to imagine it's a sinking island. However, within a few seconds, I realized there were inhabitants on my sinking island. Maggots. Maggots everywhere, sinking into my milk. And I would have drank them too, if I had stirred the milk. So I threw it out and proceeded to freak out to everyone I knew.